I'm Yasmin Poole, and I am a carpenter.
Awesome. Well, thanks for spending some time with me today, Yaz. It's great to have a carpenter on the show again. So, yeah, let's dig into you. Where did your journey start? What's your background?
My journey started back in 2012 when I started my apprenticeship. I started my apprenticeship a little bit later. So I think I was like 23, 24, around that age. And that's because I played football at a high level. So I just wanted to play football. And that was my background. And I did all right. So I just done a little bit of coaching alongside and played football. And I thought that was going to be my life. But I would say I'm 10 years too old for that to be my life, if that makes sense. It's not as big as it is now. So I was a bit like, I need to do something. And I was like, I knew it couldn't be anything office space. School was a bit of a struggle, being neurodiverse, dyslexia, ADHD. So I knew it needed to be something practical. My dad was a plasterer, so I used to do like little bits and pieces with him, nothing too much, just like when he'd done families' houses and stuff like that. So I knew it needs to be that. And then getting the actual apprenticeship was a real struggle, if I'm honest. I must have done so many like trial weeks for different companies and things like that. And it wasn't necessarily that I wasn't good at what I did. It was more the stuff like, oh, we'd have to hire another portaloo, or we'd actually have to get a portaloo. It was just stuff
Wow.
like that, really, where they just couldn't work that out yet. And then I eventually found a company called Creative Loft. So I started my journey with a loft company. And to be honest, I learnt so much there. There was me and another young lad. He didn't complete and he was on more money than me because he was male. So I
No.
was on, yeah, yeah. So I was on
Wow.
25 pound a day and he was on 50.
What?
Yeah, I know. So that was a real struggle in my life, being a little bit older as well, trying to live off that kind of money. But I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I just kind of stuck at it. And then I think I was coming to the end of my apprenticeship, and do you know, the college come out and assess you and things like that. And they
Yep.
come out and they're like, "Where is everybody?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, where is Dave and everybody else?" And I was like, "Oh, they're never really here. They just leave me tasks to do and I just do it." And they was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Well, today this is the lift they give me." And they was like, "So you've got to joist this floor on your own?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, it takes me a bit longer, but I've done it," kind of thing. And then from then, the college moved me to a different company. They was like, "You can't do this for this money on your own." Yeah. So I went to a bigger company called Cheesemeres and finished off my apprenticeship there.
Wow. Wow. So much to unpick, honestly. Goodness me.
Yeah.
So, first of all, you were on half the money
Yep.
as a male apprentice starting at the same level,
Yep. And he was younger than me.
and he was younger than you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's shocking. And that was in 2012, you say?
Yeah. I think it was 2012 I started. Yeah.
Okay. Goodness me. I can't believe
Yeah.
that. Surely you wouldn't get away with that now.
Well, I don't know, because then when I moved companies and things like that, and they paid me basically what everybody else is. When I left to go, when you're an apprentice, you have to kind of like leave where you're at because they'll always see you as the apprentice kind of thing.
Okay.
So I moved to a different company, and obviously I was qualified. Um, but I still only got, back then it was something silly like a carpenter would get like 120, 130 a day, like the lower end. And they still wanted to pay me between 80 and 90 pound a day, even though I was qualified. So I had to
No.
suck that up for a bit. I had to suck that up for a bit, for a little while.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I would say that's been quite a struggle, to be honest. But now I know my worth and I know, like, if that's my day rate, that's my day rate. If you're not interested, someone else will be, and that's it. But back
Absolutely.
then it was like still trying to get in the mix and do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Do you think that was a driver for you pursuing a self-employed route? kinda understanding your worth and wanting to get that.
Yeah, a little bit, but the thing was, my work actually spoke for itself because you look back, it's like the young lad who was on half the money more than me, he didn't pass, he didn't complete. So I completed. So, and there's just like little wins like that with really. So yeah, I completed. And then the company that wanted to pay me, what, £80 a day when I knew what the other carpenters were on, they're not even a company anymore. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
yeah, so it's
Wow.
just little wins, and I just think I'm just going to keep doing me and keep, I know my worth now. And like I said, that's my day rate and that's it now. Simple as.
Yeah, don't blame you. I mean, when you're not being recognised for the work that you put out, it can tip the scales either way, can't it? It can either make you
Hmm.
think, I'm going to keep showing you my worth and I will prove you wrong, or it can really damage your confidence. And I think sometimes, from what I've seen from social media on some of the young girls, young women coming up through the ranks, that can be the case. And it just makes them kind of take a step back and really think, I don't know if I can do this. And it's really disheartening to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I've had moments where I thought this is not for me anymore. This is not for me anymore. But then when I sit there and think about it, what else would I do? What else would I wake up and think, yes, that's my job. I like doing that. I love doing that kind of thing. There isn't anything else. So that just keeps pushing me forward. But I've had my moments where I was just thought, nah, it is, I've got to get out of this. It's a weird industry, I would say, and I would say it's more weird now with the way things are going. Some of it just I just think it's wild, but I'm just gonna keep doing me and
Yeah,
be just for me, that's it. Like everyone's different, everyone wants to go different routes, basically show different things, and I think that's absolutely fine, but not everyone's gonna be everybody's cup of tea kind of thing. That's what I'm trying to get at. But yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, totally agree. You touched on the fact that you've struggled learning in certain
Yes.
ways with being neurodivergent and dyslexic.
Mhm.
How does that still affect your day-to-day life, and how does it come out in your work, so to speak?
So I would say at work, it's a massive plus for me because I problem solve slightly different to other people and my brain works slightly different. So I can see things differently. I think what I struggle with sometimes is articulating what I mean. And that could sometimes be on a quote or even trying to explain it as well. I find I know what I want to say, but sometimes it just takes ages to get out.
Yeah, I know what you
If you
mean.
kind of get what I mean.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
another part of it. But yeah, so when I'm at work, like tasks and stuff like that, I feel like that's a massive thing. It's a positive. But anything like the paperwork, the background stuff, that's I would say is my weak point. I've got better at it because when I sit back and think about it, I left school and went to an academy and I couldn't read or write.
Okay.
I
Wow.
couldn't read or write. Like I could barely write a sentence, whereas now I can read pretty much anything. And that's kind of, I would say that's more being self taught than anything else because I know where I want to go and what I want, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Fair play to you. I kind of get the gist that we're similar age, so
Uh, I'm not worried about, I'm 37. I just had a
well,
birthday. So yeah.
you're younger than me then, let's put it that way. Only just, only just. But what I'm getting at is that obviously we were therefore at school at similar time,
Hmm.
and not a lot of neurodivergencies were spoken
Yeah.
about. Maybe dyslexia was maybe touched on for a few people, but there wasn't a lot of talk around it. So therefore, teaching wasn't necessarily adjusted for the individuals.
It wasn't. And I would say it I excelled at stuff like being creative, hence why I've got this kind of job. But they would only allow me to go to school 3 days a week. So I went to school on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Thursday.
Okay,
So if I'm in all honesty, that's pretty much all I could cope with. And I was in a smaller group who would, I would say, they were great people. It was just more their behavior wasn't great, and I wasn't a naughty kid. I just get very overwhelmed. I would get involved in what was going on because do you know when you just feel yourself like, that's all I could expect, like, get involved. Like, yeah, because everything's just hyped up. That was me. And then we just got put into a smaller group. We had more one-to-one stuff, and I kind of got what I needed
Well, that's good.
to
Yeah.
get into this academy. And obviously, sport was where my strengths were. I had a scholarship, so I went to that. And then, yeah, the rest I kind of explained. So, yeah, but school was tough. Don't get me wrong, it was tough. And it's a lot easier now, I would say, for people who are neurodiverse. But I think it's kind of made me who I am because I just think there's always been a hurdle, and I've always had to, I might not have like run over the hurdles like everybody else would. I've done it my own way. You know what I mean? I've either gone under or I've either, you know, that kind of
Yep.
thing. I've always got over it, but it's just either taken longer or just in my own time and my own way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You know,
No,
like you've said, everybody is different and we all have to work our own way through, you know, through life
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
do it the way that works for us. You mentioned you went to an academy. That was that a scholarship
Yes.
with Charlton?
Yeah. Charlton.
Was
Yes,
it?
it was. Yes.
Well, I want to get into this because I know it's a sidestep from the topic,
No,
but
that's fine.
I really want to get into this because I played football
Oh,
from
okay.
the age of about 8 or 9,
Right.
and I played for Forest Ladies.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so knowing your kind of involvement in it, tell me more about Charlton and how that came about.
Charlton was the best years of my life. Like, I can't even tell you. Like, it's like a dream. You left school. The first 6 weeks were brutal because I was 16 and I was in student halls in the middle of Deptford in London, which is like quite a rough area. Um, and they're all like, it was student halls, so they're all older. I was only 16, and it was just, you had to do your kind of evening meal yourself. I just had to,
Oh,
it was
wow.
just, yeah, it was just like, I was like, what the hell? My mum would come up and was like, how have you got this flat like this? And I was like, I just like, well, obviously, I just get overwhelmed. I was like, I don't even know. Like, there's just so much. All I know is that I need to be at the football stadium at this time and to the class at this time. And it was just, yeah. But the 6 weeks were brutal. Like, I wanted to come home. I'm not going to lie. I couldn't adjust. And my
Okay.
mum was like, no, you're staying. This is what you want to do, blah, blah, blah. And then after that, it was just the best. You'd wake up, you'd go to the Valley, the stadium,
Yep.
and you do like it was like a BTEC back then. You had to do something to get the scholarship. So we did that, and then we just went to the training ground and just played football all afternoon. And then on Wednesdays we had a match. It was just like,
Wow.
it was just unreal. I just loved every moment of it.
And how long were you there for?
From like 16 to like 19,
Okay.
and then I come home, and then I was like playing for Brighton first team.
Okay.
So I was just doing a bit of coaching and a little bit of like supported living, that's kind of stuff just to tick over because obviously football, I thought that was it, you know. I think everyone does when they're in that
Yep.
mix. Um so yeah, I did that, and then like I said, I really needed to think about what I wanted to do. So
So that's when you
yeah,
jumped
but
into your apprenticeship, hence being
mhm,
it later in
yeah, a bit later.
gotcha. Gotcha.
But honestly, yeah, Charlton was, every time I think about it, it just makes it was just, it was the life. Like, you usually woke up, I wouldn't even call them lessons because it wasn't even in a classroom. And I think that was the best thing as well. It was literally in the stadium in the VIP boxes, and they would just literally get a whiteboard out, give you some sheets, and you just kind of, it was not really a lesson. And it was just, and you knew you was all in your training kit and you thought you was the bee's knees, like literally everything. And then you just get the bus over, and then you go and play football literally from, I think it was like from 1 to about 5. Like, it was so long. It was
Nice.
pretty much, and it was every day we did that. And like I said, Wednesdays we had games,
Yeah.
and we went unbeaten for like 2 years. So we beat Arsenal. We literally beat every academy team, and it was back then as well. Charlton men were in the Premier League, and the women were as well. So they were like the top, if you know what I mean, back then. So it was just, you'd go to the men's games when they had them midweek. It was just the life I love. It was great. I can't, yeah, I can't explain how amazing it
I know
was.
exactly what you mean. It is amazing. I mean, I never went to an academy or anything, but I was part of the Forest ladies' first junior team,
Okay,
and
cool.
then they kind of built up the age groups from when I started.
Mhm.
And I think when I was, I never remember how old I was, but I think I was about 16, maybe
Okay.
17. We went on tour with the Forest men's team over to America.
Nice.
Yeah, so we tagged along with them, and I think we played the pre-match warm-up for the men's team, and we played 2 matches in a week whilst we were over there, one in Washington and the other one in Richmond, and we played at the Washington DC ground, and I think if I remember rightly, they said it was one of the loudest stadiums in the world because part of it, I think it held about 15,000 on ground level. It moved when the fans jumped. So it made a absolute
Right.
racket. But yeah, that was insane. I mean, we had to sing the national anthem. Um,
Oh, that's so good.
Kids were wanting us to sign shirts and trainers after the match and stuff. It was mental. But yeah,
It is.
that was my claim to fame in the in the football world. Oh yeah,
Yeah. I
awesome.
love the game. Literally love it, and it's a shame that you kind of, not so much like I'm fit now, I run and stuff, but it's just you can't do it at that level
No, not
when you
anymore.
get to. And for me now, it's like I'm not. So when I in 2017, I had a car accident
Oh
and
wow.
I dislocated my shoulder. So while I was doing rehab, I done surveying. So I
Oh,
did asbestos surveying. So
okay.
I didn't remove it. I just kind of surveyed buildings because obviously it was my background. So it was a really easy job, to be honest. And I just basically had to write stuff down. I hated it when I had to write the reports, but while I was doing the rehab, it just means I weren't doing nothing, if
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense. So I did that for, I would say, the rehab was long, 16 months. 16 months. I would say I did that for. Yeah,
Wow.
it was a while. But when I was coming back, trying to obviously play in was playing at Gillingham at this time, and I was just couldn't get back into it. It was just like I couldn't recover quick enough, if that makes sense. After you had such a big injury, it's
Yeah.
just for me. And then I was in lockdowns running like just over the cliffs of me, and there's a manager was like, "Please, can you just come to training? This is just for a local team. Please just come, just come, just come." And I was like, I just turned up and the buzz was there. I was like, "Oh, how have I missed this?" I played for them for a couple of seasons, but it just weren't the same. It's quite frustrating. And you kind of have to remember where you're at and why you're there.
Yeah.
And I'm still rocking up thinking I can get a massage before the game or see the physio at this time. And they're like, "What?" Yeah, so everyone's like, "Oh, you just think you're big time still." And I'm like, it's just you're used to that kind of thing, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, but it was quite frustrating, if I'm honest, more than anything. But it gave me that little buzz for a little while, and then I was like, I can't keep doing this. Monday morning going to work, I'm battered, like
Yes.
battered, and I just think find something where you can just run in a straight line. So I just run now, really.
Fair enough. No, I know exactly what you mean. I don't know why I tried playing five-a-side because I never liked it as a kid, but I tried playing five-a-side with a couple of mates that I used to play with at Forest, and their their skill level and everything and stamina is exactly the same still. And I was just like blowing, honestly. Every session I'd pull a muscle. If it wasn't my quads, it was my Achilles tightening. And I was like, guys, I can't do this anymore. I'm too old. It's like you're 19 up here still, but your body's like
Absolutely.
nearly 40. So
Absolutely. I agree with you there. Like you literally if I went training now, if someone went, "Oh, come training," I would literally think I could still do everything I could do when I was 18,
Yep.
and it's not even that. It's like you know what you want to do, but it's like your foot's not even doing it, and I'm like, what? I know what I want to do, but it's just taking ages for it to tell my foot to do that kind of thing.
100%. Absolutely. Oh gosh. Massive sidestep there, but I had to ask you about it, honestly. It was something that I had on my little list. Football. We've got to talk football. Okay, so let's come back onto track of being a tradie. What strengths do you think your neurodiversity adds to your skill set?
Like I said, I think personally it's looking at it a different way and coming up with different ideas. There's more than one approach to anything, I think personally. Um, as long as you kind of know the basics of how, say, for instance, a door or something like that, as long as you know the basics, how to get it in, everyone has their own little way of doing something anyway. And I would say I always find little loopholes or not so much, I wouldn't even call it easier ways, just maybe easier ways for me to do so. And I just, like I said, I just look at something a little bit different. And I would say that's my strength, if I'm honest.
Sweet. That sounds good. Yeah, definitely. And if there was someone, fellow female, that wants to get into carpentry, what bit of advice would you give on how to start out, do you think?
I think for me, what worked the best was having, I think, in you need to kind of gel with that person. You're not going to learn nothing if you can't stand that person, if that makes sense, or the people you're working with. And for me, I think for any apprentice, you can't just be lumping and bumping all day because I feel so sorry for them. And a lot of them come on and like, and 'cause I'm a female, they always kind of they come to me, I get a lot of it. I must get, no word of a lie, 3 emails a month of some young lad or someone who wants to start, "Can you take on apprentice? Can I
Really?
please?" Yeah, 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 I'm not
Wow.
lying, there must be 3 a month
Oh,
I get. The one recently, they just kinda latch on and they're like, "Thank you for letting me have a go, thank you," because I kinda remember my struggles, and if you don't do nothing, you aren't going to learn. So I think
yeah.
you just need to find that right person. Don't just go jump onto a team because it's the only thing you can find, because you aren't going to learn anything because all they're going to do is have you dig holes or bump that down. You kind of need to be with someone who's going to take the time to show you, let you make mistakes, and kind of let you look at something and work it out. I remember once when I was on a job once and a site manager said to me, we was doing some opening or something and I had a good idea. Again, I could see it. The idea was great. So I was like, why don't we do this and that? And he looked me square in the eye in front of everybody and went, "You're not paid to think." And I was like,
Whoa.
yeah, yeah. So I was like, that what makes you a not very good site manager, because I've run jobs. I was a site manager for a company, and that's what my strength was, being a site manager, was letting everybody else have their opinion if they can come up with a good way, because I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be someone who's better or has another idea that's going to make your team better. So I just think you need to find the right people to do the apprenticeship with. That's what I think anyway. Don't just take something because it's the only thing you can take, if that makes sense, because you're going to hate it and you're not going to learn anything.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think you've got to be around the people that embrace your voice and allow you to feel comfortable to share your opinions. Yeah, they might not always be correct, but how are you going to learn if you aren't allowed to use your voice, you know?
Exactly that. And I think to thrive in an environment, you need to kind of be involved in it, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Like it's a hands-on trade. Let people be hands-on and in the mix and see how the qualified people do things and then allow them, like we've said, to ask the questions because you can't just learn from looking. You have to be able to either get your hands on things or ask the questions to to be told, "No, actually, we're doing it this way because," uh,
exactly.
yeah.
And it's repetition as well. Like when some people go, "Yeah, I hung a door." You hung one door. Like, do you know what I mean? One door. So it's like you need to be hanging 50 doors.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just
yeah.
because every door is different, and yeah, I just think you just got to let people have a go. And I think, do you know what? And I love it as well. Like my right hand man, Mike, was a grounds worker, done like groundwork.
Okay.
And then this is when I was site manager, and he was always with me. And now he's a chippy. He's older than
Oh,
me, but
wow.
now he's a chippy. Yeah. So I taught him how to hang doors, like literally everything.
Nice.
And I just thought, if he makes a mistake on this door, either I can rectify it or I'll just go and buy another door, So it's just, and it's worth me going to buy another door because he's actually got something out of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I just think you've got to let him have a go. It might take longer, but how is anyone going to learn? That's how I think.
This is it, exactly. And like you said, every project or every situation is going to be different. It's like I saw the doors that you've had issues with fitting in
Oh,
old casings this week.
hmm,
Holy moly! Like
yeah,
that is a situation in itself that's totally different to a new build. Like going through the first, second fixes.
hmm.
I was looking at your stories to figure out, like, where have you took bits off and where have you kind of adjusted, and I couldn't even figure it out. So you're genius to me.
Honestly, I nearly had a moment where I thought, what am I going to do here? So I basically, this job wasn't what I went and priced. So I'm doing this job for a friend who's already priced it.
Okay.
So I normally check all the linings and this and that. Like that's obviously how I kind of do a recce. But he hasn't looked at. He's basically just taken measurements and he hasn't put a level on because obviously I spoke to him and they painted all the linings, didn't want to move the door stops. And when I don't think I've swung doors in linings that bad for a long time. I don't even think ever. One of them was out of plumb from the hinge to the bottom hinge, 25 mil. And I just
Wow.
thought the old door didn't even close. And I just thought, I'm never going to get it perfect. Let's see what I can do. I said, I'm going to have to move the doorstop a little bit and you're going to have to touch it up. And then I had to bump the hinges out slightly, take bits off. Even I don't like to take off the closed side of the door. I take everything off the hinge. But in that case, I had to take a little bit off that. And they were being painted anyway. But I got it to close. It's not perfect, but it closes and they were over the moon with it. And even I was a bit like, how have I just done that? But
Wow.
it tested my patience. I'm not going to lie. And it was, I'm quite small, like I'm 50 kilos. So having a door what's like 30 kilos up and down the stairs in a property
Wow.
that's been finished painted, I was thinking, and I'm having to say it's up, down, because I'm having to cut it so many times.
Oh, no.
Because I've got to get it in, get it up, and I can't do it all in one like I would normally. And I was just thinking, oh, I had to have a word with myself, to be honest. I nearly had a moment and be like, I'm done. But we got there.
Wow.
Yeah, we got there and got it done.
Fair play. Yeah. Honestly, that's one of the things that I think has been mentioned by other trades on here when they've spoke about what other trade they might do. They've kind of questioned their decision on being a carpenter purely on the fact that a lot of people are choosing solid oak doors or solid wood doors now and lumping them
Hmm.
up and down the stairs constantly has put them off.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I agree.
wow, yeah.
Honestly, sometimes there was a fire door the other day that was, I think it was like 2 kilos from my body weight. I could lift it up, but I was like, I am not moving this around on my own. It's just going to be near on impossible. So I was like, you're going to have to give me a hand lump in this and I can get it in myself. But yeah, sometimes I think, why have I done this? But I do love it. And I love actually fitting doors, to be honest. They're
Do
my thing.
ya?
Yeah, I actually really like doors.
See, that's why you and Emily work so good together because you like
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
I I don't know what it is about doors and latches. I'm obsessed with cutting in latches. I just obsessed with it, and
Yeah?
handles. Yeah, I think everyone has their own little thing. It's just I like it so it looks like the latch is like literally been made round the door. Like I like to get that look, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna swing 20 doors a day for you or cut X amount of latches in a day. I'm not gonna do that. But what I'm gonna do is do it to the best I can, and you ain't gonna have to come back and snag it, kind of thing. But yeah, doors are my thing. I enjoy doing doors. I'm not gonna lie.
I bet it's the precision and the accuracy of having to fit something perfectly
Hmm.
into the bit that you cut out, isn't it, that you like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can see why you'd like that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that would
I
be
do
something
it.
I'd enjoy about it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's everyone's like, "Oh, I'm not doing doors in existing linings. I'll make them rip it all out." And I think I actually prefer the existing lines. So I think, well, that's not right. That's not right. And now I'm going to make something fit in there and look perfect. I
Okay.
quite like that.
So there's an element of problem solving that you like as well.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
enjoy that. I really do enjoy that.
awesome. Brilliant. I did want to ask you actually, obviously you've touched on when you were doing your apprenticeship and trying to find one that the reason that you struggled was there was facilities that weren't available or they were the companies weren't able or wanting to adjust things so that you could be on site with them. What's your views now on women in the trades? And has there been any bad experiences that you would want to talk about that are more recent, obviously further on in your journey?
I think it's a lot easier now for women, which I think is a good thing. There's still a little bit of not long ago, I was on a bigger site and I had to replace some rotten frame and some doors. And again, I was carrying these massive doors. So they were like ply flush fire doors and these massive doors. And when I tell you, people were like this, the guys are literally like that. But they was like, "Was she?" Could hear them in the office. Why is there a woman here? Why is there a woman here? Blah, blah, blah. Like you still
Really?
get a little bit of that now. Yeah, still get that. But not one of them asked to help. Anyway, I would never accept the help
Yep.
just out principle. If I'm honest,
Mhm.
never ever. No, I'm good, thank you. But I would say it's more about pay than my actual ability. They don't want to pay me as much because they think
Okay.
they're always going to get less out of me because I'm smaller, I'm not as strong, or they actually think I've got less knowledge until I get on site and then I write down all my qualifications and show them all my cards and I'm more qualified than them. And then they're a little bit, a little bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I would say it's more about pay than anything else rather than my actual skill set and abilities. It's pay.
Wow.
They don't want to pay the same. That's my experience anyway.
Okay. I mean, until you start working, like, how are they meant to know what your worth
Hmm.
is? Do you know what I mean? And if you're laying out all your qualifications and site cards, then surely that pay decision should be made afterwards, and then based on that, not of who you are. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No,
it,
I do agree. I agree. But that's the kind of experiences I've had. I would say it's more about pay. Where, like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not going to lump fire doors for you all day, and I don't think a geezer is either. He's not going to like doing it on his own, lumping big fire doors, and he shouldn't because it's just going to ruin you. I know everyone say it's a young man's game. It's not a young man's game. It's just realistically we should be carrying that kind of load in twos anyway. So it's more of looking after yourself kind of thing, isn't it? Really, and
absolutely.
people just see it as well. I've got to pay another geezer to do that, or another lad to go with them. So that's kind of how they see it. So I would say that's kind of the worst side of it more than anything is the money side of it. And I think women aren't good at talking about money anyway.
No, I don't think we are.
Yeah, where I think some geezers just like they don't come in, they just go, "Yeah, well, I want my money now." I can't like they're literally so straight to the point with it. And whereas I just think, oh, I don't really want to touch on about money. Like, I'm not going to lie, but anything else I can speak about. I think money is just, yeah,
It's
I
awkward.
struggle. Yeah, I struggle with that side of things more than anything. Yeah, is the money.
Okay. Now, I think a lot of people would be on the same page in regards to talking about asking for money. You know, when you've done the
Mhm.
jobs and being paid and
Yeah,
waiting
yeah,
for the
very.
invoice to come back in.
Oh, it is the
Oh.
worst bit. You just thinking, "Oh, am I gonna get paid?" Yeah, I don't enjoy that part of it at all.
Do you have to chase many invoices? Like, do you have many late payers, or have you been quite lucky on that?
So, I've been pretty lucky on when I do my own stuff now, I do kinda like soon as my materials, turn up on site, they have to pay that instantly before I start anything,
Yeah,
so I'm not out of pocket. And then I kinda have not like a contract, just like a little agreement drawn up. So basically, they sign, I sign. So I kinda look covered a little bit.
that's good.
If it's a really big, like a reasonable size, then I do like payment, um,
Installments.
yeah, that kind of thing. So then
Yeah.
I'm only out if they go, I'm not going to pay, then I'm only out by like a week or 2 weeks, if that makes sense, instead of like the whole job. And I just think, what am I going to do, kind of thing. So I kind of
Absolutely.
stagger it like that. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I've had a few where they've gone, oh, I thought you get 30 days. No, it definitely
No,
says
mate.
on receipt, like, the work is done, you need to pay, kind of thing. And I just think, it's mad. I think it's mad. Sometimes they just think, well, you only done that last week. I've only done it last week. But I literally have it automatically set up on my QuickBooks as soon as it's gone over the date. Reminder, reminder. I do not care. I will just keep
Oh,
sending
yeah.
it. And now, before I didn't, and I was just like, yeah, but I have had that a lot. But now I just go, well, I'm not starting work now until I've paid the rest of the money. And I don't think anyone should anyway.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think absolutely, request payment week on week if it's a big job. To I'm on board with that. That's what I do. Materials, pay up front, so you're not out of pocket. And if the invoice isn't paid within the time frame that you've stated on the agreement that you've both
Mhm.
signed, hammer them. Absolutely hammer them with reminders. You know, if they want you off their back, they need to pay you. You've already done the
Exactly.
work. You know, it's infuriating the stories that you hear of
Yeah.
people not being paid for the work. Honestly, yeah, not good.
Yeah. I when I was a site manager, um, for this company, there was 7 site managers and one of the other guys who I was really close with. So on his job, they had, we used to call them uplifts.
Okay,
So instead of like, extras, we just call them uplifts on the contract. So they come through and through on email, and then we use Build a Trend. So it'd
okay,
all
yeah.
come through on there. So everyone would sign it, like site manager, the client, and then our bosses, kind of thing. Sign it all, wrapped up. So then obviously the payment come through and it was like 40 grand in uplifts and stuff like that. And there's like, oh, we just haven't got the money to pay you. And there's like, but you've signed and agreed this. Yeah, we know, but we just don't have the money. And I was
Oh
just
my
like,
gosh.
so there was that. And then they said, everyone stop, because I was helping them out. Everyone stop what you're doing. And I was like, they've got no electric on. No, 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 we're not putting the electric on. We're not putting nothing on. And they was like, oh, can you just put the electric back on? And I was like, no, 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 you owe us 40 grand. We're not connecting your electric up. I just think it's wild how some people just think you're not going to be, they're not going to pay you.
Isn't it? It's like it's been said before, you don't go into a supermarket and walk out with a trolley full of stuff and say, "Sorry, I ain't got the money this week. I'll pay you, like, in a month." You don't
Or
do it.
can I just give you a fiver for this £10 meal? Like, that's another thing. I'm like, what? That's another thing.
Mad.
Can you knock anything off? So every quote I've got recently, it's like, can you knock anything off? So do you know what I do now? Is just bump it up a little bit because I know they're going to ask me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair play.
I know people. Honestly, for like literally last 5 quotes I've done, they've asked for any movement in it. So I was like, I'm actually just going to bump on more because I feel like that's what people are asking for now. So you're
Yeah.
just going to go in a little bit higher to then get what you want. anyway. It's not even what we want, it's what we need to stay afloat and to live.
Exactly. It literally pays the bills and the wear and tear and maybe a few quid in the bank for a meal deal
Exactly
myself.
that. Yeah. But and this is what they don't understand. When you break things down, they like think they must think, "Oh, you're on a really good money." And I think when I break it down and what I have to pay out and what I need and stuff like that, I'm on average.
Yeah, yeah,
In
yeah.
theory, for what I have to do, I could probably, and not so much stress because I love what I do, but what I have to do to get that much a day, I could probably go and work in Tesco's and have less stress, you know what I mean? Just plodding along and probably earn more money. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I just, people don't understand that. They just look at your kind of day rate or what that's going to cost and they just think, well,
They think you're pocketing the whole lot, don't they? Like,
they think, yeah, exactly.
you're getting paid 200 a day. Yeah, that's all going in her back pocket. No, it's not.
No, it really isn't. And the other thing is as well, there's like, can I have a breakdown on materials? Of course, because I kind of do that. I don't really earn much off materials. All I do is put in an admin fee
Yeah, fair.
for sourcing the materials. So I do that and they go, I'll get my own materials. And I'm like, here we go. So what I'm having to do now again is add a little bit more onto labour because the materials they got are shocking
Yeah, yeah.
and it's taken me longer anyway. So you're not really saving anything. And the quality is what you're getting. It's like when they want to go and buy, I don't know, for instance, a Wix door or something like that. And I just think, or a Wix handle. And I just think, oh, you've not really saved any money here. The quality I would have got you somewhere else would have been so much better.
And it lasts
But you
longer.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, and you think I am bumping the price up when I'm really not.
Honestly, like, leave it to the people that know what they're doing and trust them. And I guess that is part of the problem, isn't it? That there's been people in the past that potential customers have had that have broken trust with them, and therefore it just falls down the hill, doesn't it, towards us when we're trying to put in for a genuine job of high
Yeah.
quality. That trust is having to be built again from tradesperson to customer.
Yeah, I do get it. Like, and we do all make mistakes. I'm not going to lie and say I don't make mistakes
No,
because you
no.
would be like we all do. It's how you get over it. And I get it. And I just think you've kind of got to rectify it as you kind of go along. And I think most people know. I know you're paying for a service, but not being funny, the Tesco's delivery driver could come and drop all your eggs. Do you know what I mean? And they've got to go and
Yeah,
rectify it and something like that. So everyone makes a mistake. But
yeah,
sometimes I do think we do get crucified quite a lot if something, a little silly mistake happens.
yeah. I guess that's where the knowledge of stuff plays a part in that. If the customer doesn't really understand the process, then they're gonna. That's where some transparency comes into play. It's
Hmm.
not just, okay, fit me 2 new doors. I
Yeah.
can, but this is what it entails, you know. And I guess that's where customer trust can be built as well when you're transparent.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like, and I think sometimes as well, they do need to trust us a little bit because
Oh yeah.
it's like me going to a hairdresser and I know I tell them what kind of style I want, but I'm not going to start telling them how to cut it. And do you know
Yeah.
it would look hard to have one side longer than the other. You know what I mean? And I just think it's like we're the professionals. Like we're going to kind of tell you the process and the options, not the other way round. I know you want a kind of design on what you want, but to get you there, you need to listen to us. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
100%. Yeah. I think that analogy of the hairdresser is perfect. It's exactly that though, isn't it? Because if you
It
think
is.
about it, who else do you put that much level of trust in?
I
You
know
know?
that it just that's what pops into my head every time a customer tries to tell me something, and I just think I can imagine having a haircut is not the greatest for me anyway. I can imagine sitting in the chair trying to tell her how to cut it. I would come literally come out like this. But honestly,
Uh,
every time someone they try to tell me, I just visualize that
that's
moment.
brilliant. I'm going to now. That's going to be in there forever now. Oh, brilliant. We're in the world of technology now, and it's only getting more vast and vast and vast. How big a part does social media play for you?
So when I was a site manager, it was kind of I was more of a working foreman, should I say? So my time was kind of more either on the work. I couldn't really film as much because then I had to. Because if I was filming when I was site manager, I literally you would see me fit a kitchen, but then you'd see me go to the bricklayers, then you'd see me go there. So it wouldn't be worth watching if you know what I mean. And it would take so long. When I was doing that, because obviously I had the contractual work, so it was just literally thrown at me job after job after job. So it was less of a thing for me. And then when I went out kind of on my own, I would say it is more of a thing. Like people do look at it. I still have a really small following. My views are okay. And I would say now it's more of connection. You kind of finding your, do you know what I mean? Like a tribe. Do you
Yeah,
get
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
100%. Yeah, yeah,
And people, like, I don't know how to explain. They're kind of like so different to you, but so similar to you, if that makes sense. Like
yeah.
they kind of understand what you go through day in, day out, kind of thing. And that's what I like about it. And you talk to so many different people, advice, and sometimes when you're just having like I said, having a moment, and you are just talking to a screen, but someone will send something, and it gives you that little something. Oh, try this or do that, or you know, or think, oh, you can do it, and it's more of that, especially when you're working on your own. You need that little, you know what I mean?
You
I feel
do.
like there is someone there, if that makes sense, but there isn't.
I know exactly what you mean. Like, obviously, being self-employed, we are on our own most of the time, and being a female in the trade, you're always I kind of think we're always thinking we have to make sure we are immaculate because someone's gonna pick fault, and then pressure builds up, and then it's like, I don't know who to talk to, so you kind of do turn to social media because you've potentially found a few women on there that are in the trades, whether it be your trade or not, but we're all trying to better ourselves within this male crowded industry. So we're all
And be a
kind of
part of it, isn't it? Really?
100%, yeah, we all want to be part of it. And yeah, I think now more of us are sharing on social media. We are able to support each other a bit more. And
Yeah.
that includes the fellas coming on board
Oh
and
yeah.
supporting us because there's some cracking blokes out there that are
Absolutely.
100% in it for all of us to be under the same umbrella and cheering everybody on.
Yeah, I think that's what it's all about more than anything, isn't it? Just like no one wants to overtake, no one wants to be in a different clique. It's just kind of be a part of something and help each other out. And I think that's more of it for me anyway. And like you said, the men in it, they've got the most knowledge, haven't they? Really,
Yeah.
just need to share that with us. And then, like I said, I think women problem solve totally different to men as well. So
Mhm.
when that's combined, like I don't mean to blow my own trumpet, but when I had my team, we earned so much money and we literally went through so many. I had like 3 jobs overlapping at some points,
Wow.
and we were smashing lofts out in 7 weeks, and it just kind of gelled. If one person couldn't do that, another person, you just gelled and used people's strengths and weaknesses. And I always think women look at things slightly different, and you can nurse. I feel like I can nurse people, whereas some people are like, how have you got him working like that on your team? I was like, I just need to talk to him and ask him a little bit different than I do somebody else. And I think women are very good at that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think
yeah.
and I think it's our strengths as well, and I think it works well, like a good bunch. It's like at the moment, I'm kinda doing a little bits with my friend and his team, and they're really nice geezers, and when I'm back on my own, I think, "Oh, it's not as nice." You know what I mean?
Oh,
I quite enjoy being in and around people and a team.
okay. It's great to hear that you've found some nice fellows to work with, or a
Yeah.
nice team, should I say. Yeah, that always makes it a lot easier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So have you got any big projects on the horizon? Anything you wanna share with us?
So I've priced quite a few for the new year.
Nice.
There is a quite interesting barn conversion that is just kind of going through slightly. So yeah, that will be, if that pulls off, that'd be so nice. I've done the house next door and it's just in the most beautiful place. I just really enjoy it there, and the quality of the work is quite high end. So that's, again, that's what I enjoy, where you can kind of take your time, everything's nice materials and stuff like that. So if that pulls off, that'd be a really nice project. So fingers crossed for that one.
Absolutely, that sounds awesome. I'd love to
Mm.
be part of a barn conversion. That's like a dream thing for me. Absolutely. Well, yeah, fingers crossed for you on that one. It's the time for the quick fire question round.
Okay.
Thrilled.
That means I
So,
have to think fast.
uh, at your own pace, you can elaborate if you want, so there's absolutely no pressure. All right.
Okay.
So it's just a this or that. Easy one to start with. Driver or passenger?
Mm. I think passenger, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Kitchen installation or staircase install?
I'd probably say kitchen, just because it gives you that wow. But then if you had a nice oak stair, yeah, just stick with kitchen, kitchen.
Cool. Tea or coffee?
Oh, coffee all day. It's got to be good coffee though. Good coffee.
No brainer. I've seen you making them coffees. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I've got to have good coffee. I only have one a day, but it's got to be. I can't do Costa or Starbucks. That's like last resort. But yeah, it's got to be good coffee for me.
Fair play. Fair play. Structural carpentry or second fix?
I do like a bit of both, but I would probably say second fix.
Cool. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Always.
Mm.
Sorry, cat lovers. This is probably going to be a hard one for you, but I'm putting it out there. Levi's or Carhartt?
Yeah, no, it's got to be Carhartt. I've got to stick to my skin. My skin is Carhartt. Yeah, Carhartt.
Brilliant. And this is an easy one. I'm going to say it. Football or rugby?
Oh, football.
All
Rugby?
day long.
Rugby?
Awesome. So, final three questions I ask all my guests because it really interests me to see what their answers are. If you could be a different trade, what would you be and why?
I I think it would be different. So if I was more academic, I think I would be someone like an architect, but I
Mm,
don't think I could do another trade. I just haven't got the patience to be an electrician, I would say. And toilets, not for me. I'd be no, no, no. Yeah, I just couldn't be like a plaster or anything else. So I think I've picked the best trade, I'm not gonna lie. But if there's anything in the industry, if I was more academic, I think I'd be someone like an architect or something like that.
nice. No one's ever said that before. That's a nice angle. Yeah. What trade or who do you think I should have on the podcast next?
I think, again, sticking to that theme, I would like you to try and find someone who is like a female architect or someone like that who does the work before we kind of do it, if that makes sense. I
Okay.
think that'd be quite interesting.
Nice. I'm going to note that down. Architect. No one said that either. So, yes, love that. Awesome. Okay. So, where can people find you, Yaz?
Just on my Instagram or TikTok, it's basically Yasmin Poole, Carpentry and Construction.
Awesome. Well, I will make sure that all your handles and everything is in the show notes for people to click on and follow you.
Perfect.
Yep, we need to keep an eye on you because you've got some epic work coming out, and I really hope that you get that barn conversion because I want to see it.
Yeah.
If nothing
Yeah.
else, I want to see
Yeah.
it. Wicked.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
No,
And
thank you. It's been great. So thank you. I've enjoyed it.
Good, good. I'm glad. So have I. So we'll speak again soon.
Yep, nice one. Thank you. See ya.